So what do I do for a living? I work with groups and organizations trying to get them to change how they think. We've been able to figure out that in order to be a good project manager, you have to become very, very effective at 3 sets of skills. The first set of skills is you have to become good technically. What that translates to is that if you're working on programs, if you're working on a computer, you better know what you're doing. The second type of skill is that you need to become good at people skills. And the reality is that some of you have people that you work with that are really good technically, but they can't even talk to themselves. And unfortunately, if you're going to be a good program manager, a good project manager, what happens is you have to become good at people. And then the third skill set is you're going to have to become good at getting things done. We call this executive function skills. These are things like planning and organizing, and today, I am not going to deal with them at all. I'm also not going to deal with your technical skills. These are things that hopefully you're already good at. Instead, what we're going to try and do today is we're going to try and look at changing how you think. I do basically 2 types of workshops. I do systems workshops, and I do definitional workshops. Today's is a definitional workshop. And what we're going to try and do is get you to think different about how you interact with others, what you do, and how you do it. Now, incidentally, for some of you, this is not going to be a problem. Every year, I talk to people that love change. They look at me and they embrace change, but I'll be honest with you, most of us hate change. We are creatures of habit. We think in patterns. We act in patterns. Let me give you some examples. How many of you, when you go home tonight and you eat at the dining room table, how many of you will have assigned seating at the dining room table? I mean, it's not really assigned, but how many of you know exactly where you're supposed to sit? And by the way, if you have a teenage son and you want to freak him out, sit in his chair. He will come in and it's like, Dad, what's up? Okay? And don't get me wrong, change is significant, it's important, and if you want to move forward, you have to figure out a way to deal with change. Let me see if I can show you what change feels like, and for this to work, I need everybody's help. If you would, please, where you are, just sit up straight, and if you would, put your hands up in the air like this. Now, take your hands and clasp them in front of you. Take a second and look at your thumbs. How many of you in here have the left thumb on top of the right thumb? Okay. How many have the right thumb on top of the left thumb? Okay, how many are not really sure which thumb is on top? All right, that's a good sign. All right, put them up in the air again. Put them back together again. Look at your thumbs again. How many of you have the exact same thumb on top? This is an example of a pattern. Here's another one. Just cross your arms like this. If you look down, some of you have the right arm on top, and some of you have the left arm on top. Let me show you what change feels like. Everybody, if you would, uncross your arms. Now, cross them again, but put the opposite arm on top. It's all right, there's a guy in the front going like this. This is not working. I'm not doing this, okay? By the way, in case you are concerned, there is no correct arm to have on top, but there is an arm that you're comfortable with. In a similar fashion, you have a way of thinking that you're comfortable with. And today what we're going to do is we're going to try and change some of those patterns.